Welcome to episode 3 of Bucn Around. My guest today, you've seen him on top of the Rotunda. He's the biggest Pirates fan that I think I've ever met. His name is Chris Miller, the legend Chris Miller, the leader of the Renegades of the Rotunda. Chris, how you doing today, man?
I'm shocked that you would call me a legend, man. I'm doing well. I'm coming off the high of a Steelers win in the post-Canada era.
Yes. It feels so good.
It's a new day, man. It's a new day.
Yes, it is. Well, how many wrestling things are we going to throw into here?
Probably a bunch.
I love it.
Probably a bunch. I'm going to lean heavy into the Attitude Era where I can. There we go.
But yeah, how you doing, man? I mean, obviously we got the Steelers win, but how's life going post Pirates season?
I think this is the only time of year I get to sleep.
Yeah, I feel that.
162 game season gets pretty hairy, but I can't imagine how the guys that actually play do it. Just watching these games feels like a full time job. I know, and there's you guys. You got like 35 podcasts now.
DiNardo just keeps adding more, and I'm like, what? I'm like, first it's, we do the NS9 Idol to get some guys to help us with the post game,
which was great.
I wasn't a part of it, but I appreciate it.
Oh, well, then it sucked. I'm sorry.
But we did that so that we could calm down, not be doing so much. Meanwhile, you got DiNardo, just gears are turning. He doesn't stop, man. He's like, let's do this.
When does he sleep?
I don't think he does.
He'll text me at like 2:30 in the morning.
Me too. I'll be at work.
Weird for me. I'm up. That's the schedule that I keep. But you have a job, dude.
I know. I'm the same way. I work nights, and it'll be 3:30 in the morning. I'm a half hour away from getting out of work, just dead tired. And he's like, "Hey, did you send me this? Did you send me what you had to send me?" And I'm like, "Why are you awake?" I was like, I wasn't even thinking about it. Now you got me thinking about NS9 stuff. What the heck?
And,
I wanted to relax.
And then he's got to get up to do the 7 a.m. podcast with Jim.
Yeah.
When do you sleep? What do you do?
I don't know, man. He's an animal. DiNardo's an animal. I hate to compliment him, but it's just
I'm not going to compliment him. I don't mean that in a nice way.
Well, tell us more about you, man. Everybody sees you on TV. You get the spotlight up on the Rotunda. You put yourself out there for everybody to see you. You just love the attention.
Oh,
tell us more about you.
We love what we do. We love the people. We love baseball. We love making people happy. It used to be a lot easier to get to ball games, but I work in hospitality, so in the post 2020 world, we just don't get days off. So right. I don't get to go to as many games as I'd like to. I used to go to 35 or 40 games a year. Now I might hit 25 if I'm lucky, but I'm usually just Mr. Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like I said, I work hospitality. The post-COVID world has not been kind to us. It's difficult to navigate all that, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. And it still does allow me some time to get to ball games. Unfortunately, I'm usually off on travel days. So it's always nice whenever I get to share some time off with the fellas.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, the good news is there's always other baseball on. And the cool thing is about working nights, I got to watch a lot of the early Mike Trout and then Ohtani stuff, which was very cool. I got to watch a lot of West Coast baseball. So I always have a soft spot for the Angels. And I was very happy when they fired Joe Madden. That made me very, very, very pleased. And the Athletics, which it really sucks for them. They just keep getting horrible news piled on them all the time. Sucks for the A's, man.
Right.
That just makes me sick.
So, you're saying post-COVID, everything's tough. You're a bartender, so that's the hospitality part.
Correct.
What's the difference between post-COVID and pre-COVID? Or was it just that you loved COVID so much?
Oh, I just had so much.
It sucks now.
Yeah, COVID was great. I contracted chronic Lyme disease. I lost my job 4 times. A bunch of my friends died. It was super cool. 170,000 small businesses closed permanently.
But you got to watch a lot of baseball.
Money, so that was nice. Let's go Pens.
But you got to watch a lot of baseball.
That $4 million on maybe defenseman or something.
Right. Oh, you got a beer. I wish I had a beer.
The tide has changed.
I should have got a beer for this episode.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry. I'm just used to podcasting with a beer. Also, if our friends at IQ Light are watching, cheers.
Hey, no free shouts. You got to give us a little something.
Beat that out. The world pre-COVID. I mean, even think about like how weird it was during the COVID year for baseball, and like that did kind of manage to bounce back. But I remember opening day 21, whenever they let the fans back in. Nobody. It was magic. How did that just happen?
Magic. You just mention it, and it comes.
That was incredible. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That was my incredible girlfriend, Steph.
Hi, Steph.
Chris says hi.
Hi.
But if anybody listening or was there, like went to opening day in 21, it just nobody knew what to do. Right. It was just complete bedlam. You know, we had like all these different rules in place, but nobody had any idea how to navigate them. And you just had like a bunch of like visibly sweaty security guards walking around asking people to just like maybe do something differently because they weren't sure if it was copacetic. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how restaurants still are. The industry has definitely changed. You're old enough to remember when people used to go out on Thursdays. Thursday was the best. Thursdays don't exist anymore. Nobody goes drinking on Thursdays. Really? Everybody closes at 10. You know, in the
I
city
have noticed that.
In the city of Pittsburgh, if you're hungry after 8 o'clock, you just die. Your options are just like to eat at a gas station or starve to death.
Jeez. Well, I mean, when everybody's like, "Oh, I need an MTO from Sheets," they just pop up 2 more wherever they can.
So I mean, my in my hometown, my old elementary school was now a Sheets. So
that's awesome.
That's probably an upgrade. It's the elementary school that produced me. So it clearly wasn't that good.
Yeah. So that's the part that sucks. It doesn't suck about the baseball though. Like it's just the job in general sucks.
Right. Yeah. Then everybody runs lean, so and nobody's open for lunch. So it used to be I could work a lunch shift and then hit a game at night, but now everybody opens at 5, so it's a little harder to get to the ballpark at 7 whenever you gotta work, or 6:30 as the case may be now. We have 6:30 start times in Pitt. Does the whole league do that?
I think there's a few teams that do it. The worst is the 4 o'clock start on a Saturday.
Yeah, I think I hate that.
I hate it so much.
I think I hate that.
That's when we had our tailgate. We had to get there at noon. We had to get there at noon in the lot, and then we're like hanging out, and it's blistering hot.
Yeah, it is like, the absolute hottest time of the day, which is always some quick thinking.
Right. It was the worst time to tailgate in the summertime. Just ask Jim.
Oh, that's a little inside joke. Way he remembers that.
Nope.
0% chance. And I think my favorite part about your tailgate was whenever Ryan was posting pictures. It was a bobblehead, right?
Yeah.
It was completely destroyed. It was like over a box of sand.
He was holding that thing tight. I think he choked it out. And that's why it broke.
Bobblehead?
No, it was Cruz. It was.
Oh, that's right.
I got it behind me right here. He got home and sent us the picture, and it's just shattered.
Yeah, I saw DiNardo. I hit a game with him afterwards, but it wasn't. Must have been the same. I think he was in for the week or whatever. But
yeah, I met up with you guys that day. Yeah. I wish we would have got DiNardo to eat those hot dogs.
Oh, the garbage glizzies.
The garbage glizzies.
He thought about it too. That's the weird part.
Did. That's the funny part. I'm gonna have to put that
saddest thing I've ever
so
seen.
People can see it.
Yeah, it was at the 79 suite walking out. They had just thrown away all the food. I want to know who got 250 hot dogs and then ate none of them.
Right.
It was just a garbage bag full of hot dogs. Still got a picture on there somewhere. It's deeply upsetting.
Yeah, that's just terrible. I don't know how you do that.
The garbage.
But you were going to make him an honorary member.
That.
You were going to make him an honorary member.
Why I don't eat on the Rotunda anymore. Because he always, for whatever reason, anytime I would eat, I would immediately get a picture, and it would be like from him. It would be zoomed in. I'd be on television eating something. And I refuse to eat on the Rotunda. I just won't do it. There was one, I'm sure he still got it. I was there with my girlfriend, and we got like the helmet nachos, like the big pulled pork helmet nachos. And I said out loud, we're between innings. There's no way this will be on television. And I ate a stack of like 6 chips, just like jammed them in my mouth. 4 seconds later, I got a picture from DiNardo. So I don't eat on the Rotunda anymore. I won't. That's like I can't do anything without him making memes. I'm the punching bag of North Shore 9, which is weird because they like have Jim.
Right.
Yeah. Like what did I do? He's the one that sucks.
For you to get bullied by DiNardo is bad because like we bully him.
Right. It's a weird thing to do. Unacceptable.
So tell me how the Renegades of the Rotunda started. How did that even come about?
It would have been 2000 and I think it was 13 was the first season that I started doing it. Because I had all this stuff. And it was near the end of one of the seasons. It was either 13 or 14. And I believe it was 13. I think last year was year 10. I just put a stinger out on Facebook. I was like, hey, does anybody want to drink a bunch of beers at a baseball game dressed like pirates? And like 20 people showed up. It's like everybody was like, yes, what a great idea. And like in hindsight, it definitely shook out. Like, yeah, I guess it could have been a lot worse. But over the years, it's, people have come and gone. People have moved away. They've gotten different jobs. People are traveling, get married. And apparently like, their wife doesn't want us to do that anymore. Like, you can't play with the pirate guys anymore. But yeah, it's to see people come and go like that. And I've made some of the best friends of my entire life just doing that. And it's just people we've met on the Rotunda. So it's the way it is described to me is that it's the best bad idea I've ever had.
I love that.
But no, it's a lot of fun. It's just, it's just about goofing around, and hopefully it makes some people happy. I never expected it to be a thing. Like you said, legend, and that's weird to me because it's not like I'm not.
That's the thing though, is like, so like I had the same conversation with Fort. 2013, like 2011 and 2013, that was the time where I really got into the Pirates. So anything that happened in that time period is like, you're either a legend or a folk hero. I said, Fort, you're a folk hero. Chris, you're a legend.
Fort, man. Boy, it's weird that you guys hit the bottom of the barrel already in episode 3 because you got like 2 really good guys, and now you just got somebody to fill time.
I told DiNardo, I was like, I'm running out of people, and he goes, I got one for you. And he gave me your number, and I was like, oh, perfect.
Here's some desperation.
This will give us another 2 weeks.
Perfect. Hopefully you can find something that's like insightful or cool.
But yeah, just like that time period was very formative for me in my fandom.
The 2013 wild card is one of probably 5 games in the last 10 years that I didn't wear the stuff to. Like that was street clothes, that was in a seat, get there early, sit down, don't leave till the end of the game kind of thing. But the 2013 wild card, and I know it sounds sadder to say it whenever it's out loud, but it is truly one of the greatest moments of my entire life, like of my adult life. Like that atmosphere was insane. And like we tried to replicate it with the other ones, but it was it was 20 years of pent up frustration in just one moment. And I mean, ultimately the moment was the Cueto dropping the ball, which
right.
it felt cinematic. And like whenever Martin hit that home run, I swear to Christ, there were sparks in the air through the state. The whole stadium was shaking. It was absolutely insane. It was this year was the first time I heard the Greg Brown call of it, that everybody was just crucifying him on X, FKA Twitter, because he was using like a French accent. I had no idea that happened until
listen. I don't stand for Greg Brown slander. I love Greg Brown.
I love Brownie. I love Brownie.
I think Brownie's the best that we have, other than Bob Walk.
I'm a big Block guy. I love Joe Block.
He still hasn't grown on me.
I like that he's not afraid to use advanced metrics in a way that's like not super pretentious. I
do appreciate it for sure.
I like Block and Rock together. I think those two are a pretty good yin and yang.
Rock's good, yeah.
But I love Brownie. I love Walkie. I know Greg Brown's always going to get you're never going to please everybody.
No.
And everybody's, Greg Brown's corny. Well, so is Hawk Harrelson. He's one of the best to ever do it. Like, look at Harry
Mike Lang.
Right.
It's the same thing.
I still have never gotten an answer out of Greg Brown why he was doing the pierogi bit.
That was my favorite.
It was hilarious.
The pierogi bit was awesome.
No idea why I did it. Somebody's got to know.
I need an
whenever
answer.
You have a real guest on here, ask them.
Maybe I can get Robbie on. I'll ask Robbie
I got his number. I got his number. I'll hit him up.
Oh,
Robbie's my dude.
I don't know if Robbie likes me.
I love Robbie. I just watched one of the. It was the. Oh my God! Oh, it was Game 7 when the Diamondbacks went to the World Series. Whenever they won that game, I watched that one with him. His buddy's one of the equipment guys, if not the clubby, for the Diamondbacks. So he was the only Diamondbacks fan watching the game. For whatever reason, it was just a bunch of Philadelphia people watching at the bar. A bunch of people from Pittsburgh rooting for Philly just felt weird to me.
Yeah, it's weird.
I didn't have a lot of skin in the game, but I just don't want anything good to happen to the city of Philadelphia. Yeah. It's just in my bones.
I mean, honestly, I wanted Philly to win just because I liked the story. I'm a big story. I like, Bryce Harper.
I'm a Bryce Harper guy. Sorry, everybody. I don't understand why people hate him.
Neither do I. I think he's just a dude that plays hard and
he's like tailor made for Philly. All he does is like talk about how much he loves the fans and how much he wants to bring them a championship. Like, dude's out here like making all the right moves. You want to talk about like an identity,
right?
The only thing I didn't like about the Phillies, and it might be the reason why it turned me off, is that they used "Dancing on My Own" again.
Yeah,
after they lost, and it was. When did the Red Sox use it? It was like 2019.
The Red Sox used that?
That was the Red Sox song. I think that's a Schwarber thing.
That makes sense.
I think it was 2019. And then Philly used it, and then they lost. Well, the Red Sox lost with it. Or it might have been the year the Red Sox won. Either way, like Philly adopts that as their playoff song, and then they lose, and then they just run it back and lose again. I'm a superstitious guy. I just think that's weird.
Yeah. But it did seem like the players were trying. There was another song they were playing in the clubhouse after they would win a series.
Yeah.
They were trying to get that to catch on, I think. But I don't think it ever did because nobody could understand what they were saying because they're adding their own words.
Once social media gets it, it's too late. Everybody was dancing on their own.
Yeah. That was I do love when a team adopts a song like that. Like you had Gloria for
the Rangers did Creed.
Yeah, the Rangers did Creed. My favorite though was Gloria for St. Louis Blues when they won the Stanley Cup.
Why they? There was a story behind that one, and I don't remember.
Yeah, the folk story. It's just some old guy went into a bar, and he went in to watch the game, and I think he was like, "Oh, they're gonna lose. Like, just play Gloria for me, and I'll die happy." And they played Gloria as they were like they were about to win, and then they win, and then Gloria's playing in the bar, and he's like, it's like, oh my God, Gloria won us the game.
That's why sports are the best.
Exactly.
So
The story, like, yeah, the stories of every, like, I wish I really liked writing because I don't, but I would love to write. I would love to write about sports. I know we have a
writing for
blog
nerds.
now.
We all know that.
Right. I leave that to my girlfriend. She's a much better writer than I am. But I just, yeah, just the storylines of everything in sports is just like, it's so easy to get entranced in it. And I love
Before
it.
everything kind of went pear-shaped for the Buccos a couple years ago, El Michon in the locker room when they were all wearing different masks, just that's the funniest thing in the world. Like, that's hilarious. And I think I respect the Clubhouse song so much more because it makes old dorks mad.
Yeah.
Like bat flips, pimp and walks. Like, I love all of it. I love more of that. That's all I want. There was the big discourse the other day in the under 12 league. Kid pimped a home run. He just got get off my lawn to death. Like, oh, is this okay? I don't know, man. That's a kid. Seems like he's having a pretty good time.
Yeah, ask him. It seems like he's having a good time.
Yeah, I think the most rewatched moment in YouTube baseball history is was it the 6th inning whenever the Bautista in Toronto bat flip?
Yeah,
whenever they scored all the runs,
playoff
came out
game.
on top. That inning is the most rewatched inning in YouTube history,
for sure.
Like, you know why? Because pimping a home run's cool as hell, and I think everybody should do that. And then,
I agree.
Nobody gets mad about fireworks after a home run. Why? Because fireworks are cool as hell. Like, you hit a home run, like you hit a baseball so far that we set off explosions in the sky, and that's why baseball's the best sport.
God forbid we hurt somebody's feelings by celebrating. You know?
I don't know. It's this get off my lawn thing. Like, I think it has a lot to do with baseball in general. The average age of a baseball fan is like, what, 55?
It's too high.
What's the average age of an NBA fan?
Probably 20? Like
20,
18
25?
to 20.
Because one league is leaning into social media and trends and trying to make the game a little easier for everybody to watch. And the other one is baseball. Like, we need more blackouts and 10 a.m. Apple Plus streaming starts that are.
Hey, that's Peacock. We don't.
Oh, is it Peacock's the early one?
Peacock.
Or Apple's Friday, right?
Yeah, Apple's Friday nights.
We had a 10 a.m. first pitch in Pittsburgh against a West Coast team.
Yep.
For Peacock.
Gotta love it.
Who the hell's getting up at 7 a.m. to watch baseball?
To watch baseball.
I mean, like, soccer fans do it, but baseball, you just wait. They play all day. It's great. Another reason why baseball's awesome.
Exactly.
They love playing all day, especially in the playoffs. Like, whenever we have a wild card game at 2 p.m. on a work day.
What I remember the most is when we played St. Louis and we had like a 2:00 divisional game.
Yeah,
I didn't even get to watch it. Yeah, I feel like I didn't watch any of that series because of the times.
Yeah, they got all the early ones, and I guess they do it geographically, but yeah, that was the Charlie Morton game, right?
Yeah,
it was 2:00, and then the next one was Cole, and they got unfortunately. I don't know if that was their best year. I think they were the best team in baseball in 15. We just ran into a buzzsaw.
I think 13's the team for me. I think they could have ran the table. The only downside is that you make that trade for Morneau, and Morneau doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it was really disappointing. I was a big Morneau guy. I mean, I still am.
Me too.
That was really disappointing. Marlon Byrd was the better acquisition, which is wild.
Absolutely.
Also, that guy was cool as hell with his shirt just like half undone, just chains everywhere.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to wear this jersey.
It was awesome. Who wore the big pants? They got they had to tell him to wear small. Oh, it's Kenny Lofton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his pants were too baggy, and he got the league made him change his pants. The dude was rocking like 50s.
Oh, but so let's talk more about Renegades. You have made obviously a lot of friends through this.
Sure.
one of those friends is the color commentator for the A's, or he was. We don't know what's going on with them.
As far as I know, that's not changing.
Yeah, I have no clue. I just know that the team's a dumpster fire and anything could happen.
Yeah, that's honestly true, especially because he's made his stance pretty clear on how he feels.
Exactly. That's why I'm also like,
yeah.
I mean, for those who don't know, Dallas Braden, great guy. We got to meet him. What are your thoughts on Dallas?
I love him. He is absolutely insane in all the right ways. I think he's the best ambassador for the game of baseball right now.
I agree.
He gets it. He's been there. He started playing when he was young. He's been there. He's done that. You know, he did the JUCO thing. He did the grind. He was a minor leaguer. He got more than a cup of coffee, but he'll be the first one to tell you that he was not the best pitcher of all time, and just happened to be one of a few guys that threw a perfect game. And he's a part of history, which is even more attractive. You know, there's something even more romantic about that you don't have to be Noah Syndergaard, who is one of the most hyped guys I've ever seen. It's never come close. I mean, Kershaw doesn't have one. He was on his way to when it got pulled, right? That was a perfect game when he got lifted, which is pretty much the only thing Kershaw hasn't done.
Yeah.
But
he's an amazing pitcher. Well, okay, he has won a World Series, but he's really bad in the playoffs.
Yeah, it hasn't been great. But it's I mean, neither Justin Verlander, but he's doing okay for himself. Right. You know, when he's got his hardware. Whenever he's not winning World Series or defending World Series titles, like this year, he was he's a scratch golfer. He tests like supercars and then writes about them in automobile magazines and blogs and periodicals. And he's married to a supermodel. So I guess it's okay if he's like,
I think he's doing all right.
Yeah, like being just okay in the playoffs doesn't seem like that bad a trade for all those things. It's the one finger on the monkey's paw.
But back to Dallas, I think I remember you guys did some charity stuff together, right?
We've done. I've done a couple things with Dallas. At least we try to help as much as possible. He's always been good. He has a soft spot for Pittsburgh. I'm not 100%
out of nowhere
sure why. Probably for the same reason that I don't know why I have a soft spot for the A's. You know, like I have. It's probably still at my parents' house from a trip to California. Whenever I was little, I still have the like plastic batting helmet for the Oakland A's. So I've always had a soft spot for them. I think it's because there's no real rivalry between those teams. They're a lot easier to root for than like the Dodgers or I'm not going to root for the Giants. I'm not going to root for the Dodgers. You know, and if I'm going to watch a team on the West Coast, it's probably going to be the A's or the Angels. And of course, I watch more Angels games in the last couple of years because of Trout and Ohtani. But yeah, Dallas is just that dude. He's helped us out in just about anything we've done. He said way nicer things about us than we probably deserve. And like I said, he's an unapologetic Pirates fan. And right now the series is split 1-1. We always bet each other on what the series is going to be. This year it was jerseys, which he still hasn't told me which one he wanted. He changed his mind. He wanted a Clemente jersey, which of course the Pirates lost to the A's, who were the worst team in baseball statistically of all time at that point. The Pirates lost 2 or 3. He wanted a Clemente jersey, and I sent him a message. I was like, all right, like, where do I send it? He was like, I already have a Clemente jersey. Like, I might want a Henry Davis. Okay, cool. Get you Henry Davis. And he just asked, I think I'm just going to get a Dallas Braden Pirates jersey made.
There you go.
They could do that. Send that out to either Oakland or Stockton. I never have any idea where he's going to be. He's like those old trains that the Soviets used to put nuclear missiles on. He just moves around, so you never know exactly where he is. I got to wait for baseball season to start because at least I know there's one more year at the Coliseum. So
that then you definitely know where to send it.
Did I tell you? Did DiNardo tell you about the? I think it would have been the Oakland series because you guys met him. Did he tell you the terms of the bet?
No.
I bet jerseys. I said I wanted Dallas Braden, Kelly Green. And it started off that before he agreed to jerseys, if the A's won, it was tattoos. And okay, so if I win, I get a Dallas Braden jersey. And if you win, I get your face tattooed anywhere on my body you pick. But that's who Dallas is. And he says for this next season that if I go to the Coliseum, he'll have his tattoo guy come to go to the Coliseum for game 3 of the series. And
just be waiting.
Like at the end of the third game, the loser will get the tattoo and the winner can watch. He's nuts, man. I'm telling you, this guy is insane.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk to him for a short amount of time there when we met him. And I'm the type of guy, like, I try to stay calm, cool, and collected when I meet, like, a professional athlete. I do okay sometimes. I'll admit, when I met David Bednar in spring training, I was talking all right, and then I started to feel myself shake. And I was like, I gotta get out of here before he notices I'm shaking.
I did that with Jim Whelan.
Right. It's like those people, it's like you watch them commit such great feats, and you're like,
right,
how am I standing next to this person? But anyway, we're talking to Dallas. Shorter than I expected.
I can't wait to send him this part.
But I don't know what to talk to him about. And him and Donardo are talking because obviously they did the podcast. And then all of a sudden, I think he says something about the Mariners and their Skycam. And I was like, oh, I love that Skycam. Like I'm a TV nerd. Like I work in the industry. I'm like, that Skycam is the best thing that's ever happened to baseball.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then his eyes lit up. He was like, they need that in every stadium. I'm
like, yeah,
right.
he's exactly right. Yeah, it's the coolest thing.
That camera angle is amazing. I think they have it now in Arizona as well.
Yeah, it is. Maybe they just the playoffs.
Right, I'm like maybe they just installed it for the playoffs for TBS.
They may
or something,
have. Fox and ESPN always do something weird in the playoffs. And the one thing I love about ESPN broadcasts of games, because I mean it sucked whenever you had to deal with A-Rod, but it's like they put a microphone in the baseball. Every time somebody hits a ball, it sounds like an explosion in your living room, and it's just the coolest thing in the entire world.
Right.
And that's just on-field mics, and all they're doing is just cranking them up. Like I think everybody needs to crank them up because the sound of a baseball off of a bat is really cool.
I agree.
I love that sound.
I'm 100% on that. Like people don't realize, especially people who are like learning the industry, you don't realize how important the sound of what you're shooting is.
Right.
Because like I did it in college, you know, we had a very janky setup at a Division III school that had like 1,000 people that went to it. So we had no money. But it's like our engineer who he worked for the Pirates back in the day. He worked on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, did all this stuff. And he's telling us like every week, he's like, we got to focus on our audio. And we're like, yeah, whatever. And then one time he put a mic, we were doing basketball, and he put it behind the net, and we used it. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is the best broadcast we've had all year.
Right.
And he just looks at us and he's like, I've been telling you this for like 3 years to put a microphone back there. And we're like,
yeah, the sound of a basketball.
Sorry, we didn't.
It's a cool sound.
Right. Sorry, we didn't trust the guy that worked on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and worked for the Pirates broadcasting team. And, you know, we were kind of stupid not to, you know? Yeah.
We really stupid. Mr. Rogers. How dare you?
Nothing against Mr. Rogers. I love Mr. Rogers. That little one right here.
There you go. Perfect.
But yeah, just like the little things in a broadcast can make it just amazing. Even like the things that don't happen on purpose. Like with the Cueto thing, the camera starts shaking really hard.
That place went nuts, man. It went absolutely insane.
And that's just, you're feeling the environment. You're feeling what it feels like even on screen, watching it at home.
You know, there's an argument now that you hear from, you know, writers and some broadcasters is that like home field advantage matters less because the athletes are so good. And to that I say, did you go to the bank this year? Did you see
right.
Philly? It was nuts. Like, it was absolutely insane. It got a little tired with the decibel
Yeah.
They kept like reading all the desks. Like, all right, that's enough. But if anybody told you they weren't nervous about going to play the Phillies at the bank, yeah, you're insane. You're absolutely insane.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it matters, and everybody will pile on the Pirates because it's easy to do. They've been a punching bag for a long time, except for those 3 glorious years. But that energy was unmatched. Pittsburgh loves a winner. If the Pirates put a product on the field, people will go, and they will be very, very loud, and they will make it very difficult for other teams.
So speaking of the current team, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what happened last season, what you're looking forward to, what you want to happen. Let's get into it. What is the Renegades' perspective? I'm calling you the Renegade until David Bednar comes on this show. Then I'll respect him as the Renegade. But you're the Renegade.
I was here first, and I'm way older than him.
Exactly.
And I think I'm probably taller than him.
Boom.
And I've been drinking icy light longer than him. I love Dave. I think he is like the absolute right move for the like. That just fell into their laps, man. That is perfect. And like, what an absolute hit. Just immediately. He is the ultimate ambassador for the city of Pittsburgh. He's the nicest dude. He's charming. He's funny. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, he's an all-star closer for a reason. I do like when people pick on Bednar, like, oh, he doesn't have it anymore. Like, settle down. We're winning.
He'll load the bases on walks and then be like, okay, I feel more comfortable now. Let's get out of here.
Then he'll just casually just climb a ladder, and like, for whatever reason, the thing that gets me about Bednar is his fastball it's not a killer. No. He doesn't have a wipeout pitch. He doesn't have an Uncle Charlie. He doesn't have anything like that. But he just dots that fastball like 98, and they just can't hit it. Like, he's aggressive. He attacks. He knows exactly where he's throwing the ball, and he gets people out. So, of course, I'm excited for Bednar to be back. I think he's great. I think he's an asset to the team. I hesitate to say, oh, you got to trade Bednar now. Like his ceiling will never be higher. Well, closers.
That's the trauma talk.
They're not the most rare thing in the world, but they don't grow on trees. And like you could have like your Craig Kimbrells of the world, who's just still in high pressure situations for some reason.
Yeah.
But arms for the upcoming season really worry me. It's now with Oviedo being down. It was Tommy John, right? That's TJ.
That was sad.
There's one arm in the rotation. It's Keller.
Yeah.
And I think it's more of an indictment that everybody's so deflated that a guy with a 4.4 ERA is like, well, there goes the season.
Yeah.
Like we've had 5 years to deal with this. I think it might fast track Skeens, which I think is ultimately going to be good for the Pirates.
Yeah.
I think that guy is going to be nails. I love that he is a crazy person. I like that there are multiple guys on the Pirates who are insane in like just this endless amount of energy, like Palacios and Andy Rodriguez. Like they're jumping over the over the rail to go celebrate at the end. And then you have guys that literally only care about winning baseball games and haven't smiled in their entire lives. And I think you need a balance of that. Yep. Guys that are just happy to the point of insanity, and just psychopaths that only care about like eating raw vegetables and winning baseball games. Like,
listen, I talked about Henry Davis. I forget where it was, what like form of media I talked about this on, but we met him and like we did an interview, but Donardo doesn't know how to use a phone to record, so it's just.
Was that the one that wasn't recorded?
Yeah, that's the one thing get recorded.
Okay.
But we had Jim interview him, and this guy.
I love that it's just a picture. Picture gets.
There's that one that did get recorded, and then we have the one that I did with Leover Piguero that had no audio. So that's.
Oh yeah. That was the other one. I couldn't remember if it was Davis or Bednar.
But Davis, like this guy is so focused. He didn't even know how to open a pack of baseball cards.
Right.
He was like, I don't know. I've never done this before.
He's never opened baseball cards in his entire life.
No, because he's like, I play baseball. Why would I open cards?
He technically was not in a round of the draft because he just went before the round. He was just good. He just, I'm over. Like, oh, you're in the second round? I was not in any round because I was just the first one, and then the round was after me. Like,
right.
Also, what is this thing? What is this pack of who's? I've
Why's
never
my picture on here, you know? Like
how did you get my picture in here? Who told you?
But yeah, that dude, he was so, I wouldn't say so awkward to talk to, but he was like, it was like talking to someone who's like, my only job is to hit baseballs hard.
That's all he wants to do. And I love
but
that.
I love it.
Respect the
I
hell
need
out of
it.
Brian Reynolds.
I need more of it. Exactly.
Charlie Morton was like that.
Really?
Yeah, he was just like always super quiet, kept to himself, and just would go out and deal. And I think that had a lot to do with the Pirates' kind of philosophy towards pitching because Charlie's stuff didn't change. I think he had the best stuff in the rotation, but that was the pitch to contact era. And I mean, I love Charlie Morton for the same reason. Like he was just super quiet, never said anything, just went out and did his job, and then would like either sit in the corner and play a guitar. Like you'd see people doing like interviews post game, they would just be Charlie Morton in the corner of a clubhouse by himself, just like strumming an electric guitar, like tuning it. All he wanted to do was pitch and then just like tune his guitar in the clubhouse.
That's so weird.
And you got Skeens walking around telling people that they suck at working out and then just walking away. Like they're on your team.
I wonder if Charlie Morton ever met Donnie Iris.
He would have no idea who he is.
Yeah, but I mean, he's a rock star.
He could show him a thing or two. He would have no idea because he doesn't care. Because he just cared about
He's
about throwing a 12-6.
Like, oh, you play guitar too? That's cool.
That's cool. I have a guitar. Okay, bye. So do you like guitar? Cool.
Oh man. But yeah, and then Endy and Palacios. I love Endy on the field, hypes up Bednar whenever he's in a spot. I think that's exactly what Bednar needed to focus up. And
the thing that's wild to me is how much of I don't want to say trendsetter, but how much he's like setting the tone for the team. Endy's kind of taking up that mantle as a very, very young man, which is very cool. So like people listen when he talks. Like I think what the team really needs this year is an identity.
Yeah.
And last season they got gutted with injuries like that. Anybody would
that.
Anybody.
Exactly.
But to watch Endy kind of take like more than just a game caller, like you can tell people listen when he talks, which is very impressive for a guy that's that young. Which I don't know the guy. It seems to be pretty well respected by his peers, which is awesome. But I think that he's the guy moving forward. I don't know what that means for Henry Davis. I don't know if we're ever going to see Henry Davis catch, which is just the weirdest damn thing I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I don't know organizationally. Like, did they not trust him? I don't know because it really looks like it.
And that's basically the answer that Jordan gave me on the last episode was he can catch. He can do it. It's just that he's got to show up and do it. And whether that's Henry's choice or Carrington's choice, we don't know. That's up in the air. So I just hope he learns how to play right field at this point.
Oof, that has not been pretty.
And he's got the arm.
He does. He's got a cannon. Everybody, well, just put him at first base. What do you do with that arm? You can't. Like,
you're wasting an arm.
You're wasting an arm. Like, God, that guy has an absolute cannon. He's a guy I'm excited about. I hate to say that he's a question mark. I think we know his ceiling is very high. I think he's much more than a question mark. It just depends on where you play him. Because I don't think he's a right fielder. So I think you gotta let him catch, or maybe he's your designated hitter because we know he can hit.
Yeah, but until we know for sure if Andrew McCutchen's on this team or not, Andrew McCutchen's the DH.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have him play out in the field as much as he did until he got injured,
And that probably had a lot to do with it. I mean, when did Kutch first hurt that leg? Because one, he's not getting any younger, and two, he's like his injuries are old injuries.
Right.
You know, he's been at this a long time. You know, when was he the MVP? Was that 13 or 14?
That was 13.
13, yeah. A decade ago. What a long time as an athlete. It's a long time. I mean, I still look good. I still look young and virile and youthful, sprightly. Not all of us can say that. I still have my long, luxurious head of hair that I had in 2000. Me and Kutch both had long hair at 13. Kutch is still like the coolest person I've ever seen. I met him a number of times, you know, like working in hospitality. Right. Met him a number. He's just the coolest guy. He always looks awesome. Like his sense of style is there. He's just like the guy just like walks around cool. I don't know how it looks exhausting.
Right.
Like,
right. It does.
About what you're wearing.
Like, I wish we could have saw more of that in his first run with the Pirates, but I think there's more of the pressure of getting this team to where it needed to be. So he was like focused on the game. He was almost like Henry Davis and Brian Reynolds. You know, he was like, you got to play the game.
Had that swag, like
he always had swag, but it wasn't always like outwardly put. You know, like, I feel like that didn't come out until he dance off
before all the games. That was awesome.
Right,
where the bucket of chewing gum on his head. Even Clint Hurdle like that. Come on, man.
Right. Everybody I just feel like when he went to the Phillies and the Uncle Larry came out, you know.
Uncle Larry came out.
I think that's when everybody was like, okay, Andrew McCutchen's the coolest dude ever.
Yeah. It was at that point he became like a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because in Pittsburgh, he was always the guy. But I think it was more than that. It was more than leadership. Like he was the MVP. He was a league MVP. There's not a lot of them. But whenever he went to Philly, it was like, okay, now the expectations are they're tempered a little bit. You know, he's an older guy. They expect a little more out of him, but in like the leadership side of things. In Pittsburgh, you just expected production. We also had older guys. Now it's team's exceptionally young.
Right.
Even the coaches are young. You know, you go from Clint Hurdle, who's an elder statesman, like, you know, he's worked with, you know, like Dusty Baker and guys like this, to Derek Shelton, he was what second youngest in the league at the time. It was like him and Council,
maybe, yeah,
it was something like that. But like I remember him playing. Like I remember whenever he was ball player. It's, you know, coaches are young. Jordan Comedina's
real young. He came in 2016.
Yeah.
He's been there a while.
That was a great interview, by the way. Jordan's a really good dude. And man, that guy knows ball. Also, cool as hell.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to talk to him. Because I'm like, this dude's cool as hell. Yeah. I was like, I don't care. Like, I knew I had to talk about, okay, you're the catching coach. Tell me about Henry. Tell me about Andy. But I really wanted to talk about his fashion. And how cool, like, he makes his own clothes. He sells them online.
Casually started an awesome, like, lifestyle sportswear brand just on a whim.
Yeah. He was like, COVID sucks, so I made a hobby.
Yeah, and his hobby was just cool as hell. But, yeah I mean, like, he's a great follow on Instagram if you don't. Like, his sense of fashion is just awesome. Like, a really insightful dude. Like, a really good dad. Like, he's just great. And that dude knows ball, man. If you talk with him, like, and McHenry, which is wild, you've gone from those guys to just me. Sorry about it, man. That really sucks.
Well, we were talking,
maybe you'll rebound in episode 4.
There was too much, structured baseball talk. I need to chill for a week.
Chop it up, man.
Drink an icy light with a pal,
Cold ones with the fellas.
But I want to ask you another question about what do you think of I don't even know what the answer could be for this.
Oh, God.
What do you think of this?
It was like that when I got there, I swear.
What do you think of the state of Pirates fans? Like, where are people too far off the deep end? Are people not caring enough? What? Just
I
the
think
scope of where we're at.
I think there's two different kinds. I think there is the kind that I much prefer, and that's the kind at the baseball games, the people that still go. And then there's whatever the hell Pirates Twitter is, because it's just a godless place. It's like Steelers Twitter, but less racist.
Yes, that's the best way to put it.
It's the sky is always falling. Everything is the end. And then like Vino too, one of my all-time favorite people. Just he's optimistic and just gets absolutely gutted by people all the time.
All the time.
Because he's the lone optimist, and everybody just piles on to poor bastard. Like I love Vinny. He's the man. He makes the best memes. Yep. He's an unbelievable fall. But like Pirates Twitter, man, like just change the channel. Watch something different. Good God.
If it's going to cause this much grief, get out.
You don't have to. We don't need you to. Leave me alone. I bought my ticket. Leave me alone. Stop being mean to me. But no, like I think if you go to a game, it's a lot different. I think there is a sense of like a very not pragmatic look at things, but there's a realistic look at things. And the Pirates are going to struggle the way that the team is constructed and operated. Yeah, you don't have to spend $450 million on your payroll, but you can't spend 50.
Yeah.
You know, it's the worst thing that's happened to baseball is Moneyball. You know, because it now incentivizes teams to be built in that way. And it's, you know, you don't always get a Barry Zito for cheap. And then you've got the Rays are always in the playoffs. Yeah, and whenever they have a pitcher that starts to show some interest, they immediately trade that person if they haven't blown their arm apart by having them throw 100-mile-an-hour fastballs 80 times a game. You know, it's not sustainable. I don't think the Pirates need to spend like the Mets. I don't think they need to spend like the Padres, and not because both of those teams were terrible this year, but you have to open the wallet. And you know, we're like Lance Lynn just got $11 million or $12 million a season. That's what these guys are going to cost, and the Pirates need 4 of them. So you don't have to go out and you don't have to give somebody $40 million a year. You don't have to get Ohtani. I would love to get Ohtani. There's no way that my heart would survive getting Ohtani. That would be it for the old ticker. Somebody's going to get him. I think it's going to, I'm going to be really sad if it's the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like it's going to be the Dodgers.
But I'll say I think that's where the fan base, everybody comes together and set like that. Everybody thinks that like you got to just spend a little money.
You have to spend.
Agree?
You have to spend a little money, and again, you don't have to spend these major market dollars. You don't have to. It was weird a couple years ago whenever the Cubs said that they were broke and they couldn't do that, and now they're doing that again. They're going. Surprise, surprise, they're winning. You know, and their rebuild took 1 season. They went from bad to playoff contender in 1 year. I wonder why. There's no secret that free agency is where you go out and get your talent. And the problem is if you run a team the way that you run the Pirates, and everything is predicated on drafting and player development, you can't miss. And that's the unfortunate part. You know, the Yankees can miss. The Dodgers can miss. The Cardinals can miss. The Pirates can't miss, because if it's all through there, if you're not gonna sign a free agent, these guys have to be developed and they have to work every time, or you're gonna struggle.
Right.
And it's tough watching all the other teams have fun in free agency, and then
exactly.
Well, we might see.
And then you're like,
by June.
Yeah, you're like, hey, Ben, do something. Poking him with the tape measure. Do something. Maybe something gets done when we're in Nashville for winter meetings. That'd be great. Get the exclusive, you know? But anyway, enough about baseball. Let's talk about how you want to open your own bar. What is the dream for the bar? Yeah, very expensive. So if you'd like to invest,
Yeah, just hit me up. Just mail me money. It'll be fine. I'm sure I'll put it all towards the right moves. No, man. I love the Rust Belt. I love Pittsburgh. I love this sense of community. You know, like Pittsburgh is it's a hard town. Or at least it used to be. It hasn't really changed that much. I mean, now we have Google and more hospitals, but we're still blue collar. And this sense of community is kind of starting to disband a little bit. And it's weird to watch as, you know, places like East Liberty changes, and, you know, they're trying to do with Braddock and Mount Oliver. Like, these are very, like, where is the community here? And I think that's what this is lacking. And that's why I want to open a place where people can go and people can watch baseball. You know, people can watch the Pirates, people can watch the Steelers, people can watch the Penguins. Community is good. Hospitality is something that I'm passionate about. I've been a bartender for 19 years. That's almost as long as some of the people that I work with now have been alive. I realized that I was the grumpy old man at work. I was the elder statesman when I said, man, I miss the red cups at Pizza Hut.
Nobody knew what you're talking about?
And multiple people had no idea what I was talking about. In their lifetime, they had never been to a Pizza Hut that had the like semi-transparent red plastic cup. Yeah. That's man, I can't keep making money for other people. But yeah, I've been looking at a couple different locations, so I'm trying to make it happen. And again, you know, I'm from the lower valley, so I'm northeast of Pittsburgh, up the mighty Allegheny. Not quite from my front door. I'd have to go a little ways, but I can see the dam where they jumped the speedboat over in striking distance.
Oh, nice.
Two guys that went to my high school tried to do that.
Oh,
they tried to do that, and one of their dad for. I won't use their names. So H and J drove a speedboat, or it was a fishing boat, over a dam, not knowing how a dam worked. They didn't realize that the magic of cinema makes that happen. Luckily, they were going fast enough that it threw them both over what is apparently called in dam building the death zone. Because I guess like if you go over a dam, it just kind of churns under and you'll just get stuck at the bottom. So the debris of the boat is probably still under there somewhere. Oh, this was I don't remember when striking distance came out. It was like 94, 92. But yeah, but that's my hometown's claim to fame. We're where they jumped the boat. You know, it's. Yeah, I was born above a steel mill, and like, I can see now where I live. I can see one every day, and it's what this town is. It's the winters are long. You know, the cold builds character, and you know, Pittsburgh's a warts and all city. Like, we were never afraid to turn our backs on what made Pittsburgh bad, so that we could celebrate what makes Pittsburgh great. And what makes Pittsburgh great is the people. And it's because of community. And it's funny with Pittsburgh is we're all Pittsburghers, but it's, oh, well, I'm from Braddock. Well, I'm not from Braddock because I'm from like, what's even like, sorry, brain, as we discussed.
Like, it's like me saying, oh, I'm from Pittsburgh, but I'm actually from Beaver County.
Or it's not even that, but like if you are from,
that's worse.
If you are from Sharpsburg, you're not from Etna, and you hate that guy.
Yeah, right.
You hate him, and then he hates the guy from Millvale because he's not from Etna. Right. But we're all Pittsburghers, and we love our town that much. But there is this fierce loyalty to where you were born, very specifically. Like, Pittsburgh is a city that's built up of very small communities,
right? And
I think that's what makes Pittsburgh great. And I think we need more places to celebrate community. And like, look how we celebrated community in 2013, the wild card game. It was nuts. There were 170,000 people on the North Shore. 170,000 people. You could have walked from one end of the Clemente Bridge to the other one and never touched the ground. You just would have walked on shoulders the whole time. It was nuts.
That makes me so excited. Like talking to Jordan, even talking to Fort, these guys that are around the team, they're very confident that it's coming, that we're going to get back there.
I think we have gone from if to when.
Right.
And I'm not saying for a World Series, but to make a run at this thing. Now, 24 pitching really hurts, man. But maybe this is the year you can finally figure out what your infield's going to look like.
Yeah.
Is Cruz going to be that guy? And then you take a flyer on some free agent arms. I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer, but I'd love to be proved wrong. But the 24 season with the way that the rotation is shaking up, I don't want to go see Bailey Falter as the opening day starter on.
Come on, Bailey's good. Bailey's all right.
I don't want that.
That's listen. If Travis Williams,
nothing against the dude, he seems like a wonderful.
If Travis Williams can sell us on cheese curds, he could sell us on Bailey Falter. I mean,
oh my God, the cheese curds.
The man's amazing. Like
the cheese curds thing. When they were opening the new team store, there was some sort of breaking injury news that nobody could report on because they were all covering the team store. Because it's the only time Travis Williams would come out of hibernation.
Right. He was like, but these cheese curds, guys.
It was during the Instagrammable experience that it was Reynolds' hand. There was a report that his hand, and nobody could cover it. I think it was like Philip Pony's like, Reynolds got a broken hand, and you just can't say anything. Because everybody's listening to the words Instagrammable moment with a straight face, because if they don't, they'll have their press credentials revoked.
Oh my gosh. That's the other thing. Not to get it's not off topic, but just these people and how they lose their credentials for saying the truth.
The weirdest one was in Baltimore.
Yeah.
He didn't lose his credentials. He was removed from
the he got suspended.
The team was good now.
Yeah. He was like, oh, they were bad, but we're better now. It's like, and you suspended him?
Right. For like a long time. He was out of the booth for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. It was a while. And it was the owner that made that call. That was like, yeah, no. Like, I know, buddy, he complimented you.
Back to what we said about Greg Brown earlier. Brownie always gets a rap as a company man. I just think he's just optimistic. I guess that's the way I read it. It does come like the way he says things. Like, don't get me wrong, it does sound. But I don't think he's that guy. I don't think he is a mouthpiece. I think he just believes in the team.
I just want to hear him say one bad thing.
They don't believe. You remember the cell phone? Boy, he hated that.
Oh, he hated the cell phone thing. He wouldn't let Castro let that go. He wouldn't.
He talked about it again this year. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was a bad look. He's absolutely right. It was a bad look.
It was terrible.
I also thought the memes were good. I know we all use that. That is the one thing Pirates Twitter does really well, is the memes.
Right.
We were good at that. I liked when everybody was using cameos. Then it became an arms race.
Yeah, I love the Pat Mahomes one.
That one will be evergreen. I love that
one still. Yeah, it still gets used
whenever weekly basis. And I don't even remember who that was, and I feel bad for not knowing it. Now that everybody steals everybody else's videos.
What? Who got the Pat Mahomes one or the Clint Hurdle one?
The Clint Hurdle one. Whenever he says out loud, like, I don't want to say this. And then just launches into your poverty franchise just lost the series to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Oh man.
I don't want to say this. Cameo is a wonderful invention. My friends at the bar paid Lenny Dykstra $100 to say my podcast sucked. So I have a Lenny Dykstra cameo. Nails never fails, baby.
Let's talk about the podcast. You told me earlier, you were like, I have a Pirates podcast, but it's not about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
No, it's about Pirates, about that kind.
Right.
Yeah, it was a podcast we had for a number of years, and it unfortunately fizzled out over the summer with people getting new jobs, and one of my co-hosts unfortunately passing away very suddenly. So that was something we had to deal with. So that was very unpleasant. But yeah, we had a podcast. It was no North Shore 9. We were not number 2 in Belgium, but we were number 1 in Estonia.
Better than us.
I don't know where we ranked in baseball, but that was in the history education comedy podcast. We were number 1 in Estonia, the good people of Estonia, the homeland of Skype.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that got gobbled up by Zoom. They fumbled the bag, unfortunately. A great blow to the people of the proud, hardworking people of Estonia, who I respect very much.
So like that's I assume that's where the origin of like all the pirate attire came from, or which came first? It's like
actually,
chicken or the egg. Which one came first?
The Renegades came first by a number of years.
Okay.
But I mean, if you get enough guys with beards in their 30s together, a podcast just happens. It's either you start a podcast or you open a brewery.
What are you gonna do?
It's cheaper to start a podcast. But if somebody's trying to buy corporate real estate, like
it's like, hey, I'm no chemist, so I can't make beer, but I can plug it in a microphone.
And I already made beer and it didn't work out. And then I made a podcast and it didn't work out. Don't worry, I'll figure out something that I can do.
Well, speaking of the podcast, I have a little quiz for you. Now, I asked you this question very late into the process of getting this interview ready.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know what was an obscure thing you knew a lot about. You gave me some really off-the-wall things.
Yeah, like weird, distasteful things. Just boring things, not distasteful. I don't want anybody to think I'm too much of a pervert here.
I got to pull up the messages. It was like Russian what?
Russian literature.
Russian literature.
The shelf of Russian literature. I used to be able to recite John Milton and Edgar Allan Poe from memory.
Yeah, you could recite The Raven from memory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could do that anymore, but it's unfortunate, but you didn't really need that.
But you see, sir, I was napping when so gently you came tapping at my chamber door.
That's awesome. Mm. But we decided on pirates.
It seemed the most appropriate.
Yeah. So
it's not too much of a stretch. I did like in your interview with Jordan when you had the Pittsburgh fashion icons.
Yeah,
I had completely forgotten about the Ben Roethlisberger. Was that the?
Oh, it's my favorite picture.
Was it the Emmys or the Grammys? 2006
Grammys.
Grammys, yeah.
That's my favorite
he had
picture.
That backwards hat on, man,
with the Jerome Bettis Notre Dame jersey. He knew what he was doing.
That's the era when I knew Ben as a bartender.
Oh, that's
what
awesome.
A time to be alive.
So anyway, I didn't make my own quiz on pirates.
Oh, we're gonna test.
I asked you about this like an hour ago.
Blackbeard, I know that first one.
Yes.
1 for 1.
So here we go. We're just gonna get into it.
This was Bartholomew Roberts, Black Bart.
Black Bart. Okay, the question for those listening on the podcast version. What was the pirate name for John Roberts, who captured hundreds of ships in the early 1700s? Black Bart is your answer.
Yeah, Samuel Bellamy was Black Sam. See?
Oh, so you know.
I'm not
more about this than I thought.
Full of bluster.
All right, question number 2. What was John Rackham's pirate name?
I know this, and I'll tell you why I can cheat. Because it was Calico Jack Rackham, and it's because that's his flag over my shoulder.
Oh.
So we all have different pirate flags that we carry on the rotunda. We've all picked a pirate, and I had Jack Rackham.
That's awesome. I love that. And also, excuse the ads and how glitchy this website apparently is. What? Where are we? Okay. This is terrible. I don't know why people watch this or listen. How was Calico Jack finally apprehended by a pirate hunter?
It's the source of some contention. I believe we're going to go with he got drunk. He fell for a woman who was actually a spy, is because he had 2 women on his crew. But I think drunkenness is probably going to be the answer that they want. Yeah,
there you go. Which is my favorite answer of those. So
yeah,
this
partying,
is the
man.
glitch website.
How stuff works. I'll tell you what doesn't work. Your website.
All right, next question. Black Caesar operated with which other well-known pirate? And I actually know the answer to this.
It's Blackbeard.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Blackbeard was by the end of his pirate career, which was only like 2 years long, which is wild. His crew was almost entirely freed slaves. And Black Caesar was one of them. Apparently he was like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, especially back then, like you hear in history, like people aren't tall.
No,
and
this George Washington was like 6'2", and he towered over everybody.
Right, like it's insane. All right, who was also known as the Rhode Island pirate?
Pretty sure it's Henry Avery.
No, it was Thomas Tew.
Damn
it. He had a very successful but brief career cut short by a cannonball to the gut.
There was a guy that did that. Like it was like black and white videos. He would just get shot in the gut by a cannon. Like that guy would have made a great pirate.
All right, I don't know how many questions are on here, and this website is getting.
It's 70.
Have you done this one?
No.
Okay. Next question. What was the pirate nickname for Edward Teach?
Oh, it was Blackbeard.
That's easy. That's too easy.
Yeah.
All right. It's really
what's happening here?
Too many ads. They're trying to make too much money.
You probably call it. I think I've demonstrated my.
I think so. I try to have these fun games, Chris.
It was a good one. It was a good. The website didn't work.
Oh man!
No, I think I've flexed my nautical piratical knowledge.
We get it. You like pirates,
some dude. Okay, you know you don't just get a hat like this. You earn a hat like this.
Oh man! Well, Chris, thank you for bucking around with me. This was a true bucking around where there was no structure. I know who cares about where you grew up and how you learned about baseball. No,
we don't talk about happened at one point.
Right. We just magically get beer and talk about baseball.
I'm a Pirates fan, so I have to just be from Pittsburgh. Everybody knows that. I don't think anybody was unlucky enough to select the Pirates at their adult stage of life. And then have to deal with this. It's shared trauma. It's like the army.
Right. Right.
It brings us closer together.
Well, Chris, thank you again for bucking around, man. And we'll see you at PNC Park at some point this summer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm coming to see you. I'm getting tossed another icy light.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. Cheers. We should have shot him. What next time? But Cody, thank you so much, man. This is great. Let's go Bucks.
Let's go Bucks. Cheers.